The winters of my childhood were long, long seasons. We lived in 3 places: the school, the church, and the skating rink. But our real life was on the skating rink. Real battles were won on the skating rink. Real strength appeared on the skating rink. The real leaders showed themselves on the skating rink. The Hockey Sweater by Rookie. I got a copy of this book in 1984, and I still have it. Even got Maurice Richard himself to autograph it in 1988. It is one of my most prized possessions, even though I never played hockey. Now, the winters of my childhood were spent watching hockey instead of playing it. According to my parents, when I was a wee lad, they asked me if I wanted to sign up for hockey, and I apparently seemed ambivalent about it, given the investments that hockey required in both time and money. Early morning practices and long weekends in cold arenas, they felt I was not interested enough. And at the time, I don't recall being all that upset about it. But as I grew older, my love of hockey grew. My favorite players were the goalies: Mike Vernon, Patrick Roy, Mika Kiprusoff. Why goalies? They were flashy with their painted masks and big equipment. They were the last line of defense, the gatekeepers of wins and losses. They were the highlight reel, the big save of flashing leather, and the artful poke check, denying some of the greatest players to ever lace up skates. They were seriously cool. Now, as I got older, my desire to play hockey started to come out. But of course, by that time, all of my peers had several years of experience on me, and the idea of jumping in late just wasn't an option. It was too late. The other kids were too far ahead of me developmentally, and there's just no way I would have been able to catch up and compete. That didn't stop me altogether. I begged for roller hockey goaltending gear, even though we lived out on an acreage and there was no one else to play against. So I would put on my rollerblades, strap on my foam leg pads, grab an old Flames jersey, grab my blocker, my trapper, my goal stick, and skate circles around my basement, firing tennis balls off the walls and diving back to make saves on the rebounds. Now, as I got older, I used to joke with my parents that they'd missed a golden opportunity, that I could have been an NHL goaltender, I could have made millions and bought them a house. Of course, that's not overly likely. While I am just over 6 feet tall, I have the size needed, but the chances of going pro are somewhere in the vicinity of slim and very slim. But back to the Hockey Sweater and Maurice Richard for a minute. The Rocket, later in his career, played on the Canadiens with a rather famous goalie, Jacques Plante. Plante, of course, was famous for being the first goalie to wear a mask way back in 1959 after taking a shot to the face and breaking his nose. But he was also one of the oldest goalies to ever strap on the pads professionally, playing for the Oilers in the WHA in 1974-75 at the ripe old age of 46. Now let's get one thing out of the way right away. I have no illusion that at 44, 2 years shy of Plante's last year in hockey, that I could make it to the big leagues with anything more than a ticket to the stands. But let's set aside the competitive aspect for a second. Hockey, at its core, is a game. A game that I love, but I've always felt a bit apart from. But what's stopping me, really? Are you ever too old to try something new? To live out a childhood dream? To test yourself against nothing but your own pride? I always wanted to be a goalie. So today, I'm picking up some rental gear. And tomorrow, I'm going to take that gear very early in the morning, and I'm finally going to get to live out that dream. I am going to take a lesson in how to be a hockey goalie. Now, when I decided to give this a try, I thought I'd ask an expert to see what they thought about an old guy like me getting into goal for the very first time. So here's the advice that I got from former Calgary Flame and current TSN analyst, Jamie Noodles McLennan.
Hey Reviewy, it's Jamie McLennan, aka Noodles from TSN and Overdrive. Listen, I got your note. I think it's super cool that you're in your mid-40s and you're thinking of strapping the pads on. Honestly, you're never too old for it. I will say, just make sure that you take care of your body, because you'll use different muscles. Your hip flexors, your groins, your knees will be sore, but it's a lot of fun. Honestly, I was so lucky to play with some amazing goaltenders. That's the cool part. I was a backup in the NHL, very proud of it, but getting an opportunity to play with Kiprusoff and Grant Fuhr and Roman Turek and Manny Fernandez and Ron Hextall and Roberto Luongo. You go right down the line. There's some great guys that I had a chance to watch and to play with and work with and learn from. So the only thing I would say if you're doing it for the first time is just make sure you have fun. Honestly, it's a balancing act. It's about making sure that you're in the right position, all of that type of stuff. But honestly, I think it'll be so awesome if you try it, and if you're any good at it, stick with it. You know, it's like anything. Just try new things and challenge yourself. All the best, my friend. Good luck playing net. Let me know how it goes, and we'll chat soon.
Now, the next step was actually securing some equipment. Thankfully, Sports Rent here in Calgary rents out almost everything you need for $50 a day, plus an extra 10 for the stick. That's the leg pads, the pants, the chest protector, the trapper, the blocker, and the helmet. The only things they don't include are a jersey, skates, and an athletic supporter, and I don't mean fans in the stands. Now, I managed to find a pair of goalie skates, which have a flatter blade and more protection on sideline swap, which is kind of like an eBay for used sporting goods. Now for the jersey. I got a goalie-size practice jersey from Hockey Life. That's the same place I got my jockstrap. But it's a bit boring on its own. So I grabbed some leftover fabric and thread and sewed up my very own Reviewy/Flames logo on the front. So now I've got the gear, I've got the lesson booked. So it's time to go through it all and try it all on and make sure I can figure it out. My lesson is very, very early in the morning, so I want to make sure I can get ready relatively quickly so as not to waste valuable ice time. All right, so I have never put on goalie gear before. I've got the... Let's see if I can hook the bag over here. Got the big bag of goalie gear here. We're going to see if I can manage to figure out how to put it all on. So this is from Sports Swap. $50 a day gets you all the gear you need. So you get your blocker, trapper. You get the funk of 40,000 goalies in here. Whew, stinky. You get your chest protector, your pants, of course, the helmet, rain bucket, very important, and of course, the leg pads. Common sense tells me the first thing I got to put on is the jock. This does not come as part of the rental package. This is something you have to go buy your own. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with being the only one to have ever worn this particular jock strap. That seems to make sense to me. Next up, the goalie pants. I may have a little too much junk in the trunk for these particular pants. Oh! I think now that's the question. Now this obviously has to go on the outside. You would think. It'd be nice if they said left and right in them. You know, it's funny, I have no idea which side this would go on. I'm gonna guess it goes on this side. And that's the inside protection. Although it would also make sense to go like that, but this bumper here seems like it would go on the outside leg, right? Right? Right. I think that's the way it's going to go. You got all kinds of buckles and straps. Let's say the legs go on like that. I got the chest piece I think is a little more straightforward in that that's definitely the front of it. Oh man, this smells like hockey, I tell you that much. I may never have played hockey, but I know what hockey gear smells like. We got blocker on this hand. Trapper on this hand. That's going to be different from... Whoa, it actually takes some effort to keep that trapper open. That's something I didn't expect. You actually have to like flex that hand to keep that open. See how easy it is to pick up a goal stick. There we go, got our goal stick. Oh, and of course, can't really do the, but whew, that's really gonna tax the hand. And of course, you got the helmet. I'm not gonna put the jersey on until tomorrow morning. Hopefully it'll fit over all this. But then, the smelly rental crane bucket, and there you have it. Goaltending gear in a nutshell. Yeah, it all fits pretty well. I think that's going to be enough protection. Whew. Man, putting your helmet up like that hurts. Digging into the head. How do goalies do this? All right. Got it all. It all fits. I think we're good. Tomorrow morning, we ride. Good morning, everybody. It is 5:30 in the morning, and I am up and at 'em, about to go grab a cup of coffee, and then head on down to East Calgary Twin Arena. So I've got my booking for 6:45 this morning. So you may be thinking, 5:30 seems a bit early, but I wanted a chance to go get a cup of coffee, get to the arena, kind of scout it out, never been there before, make sure I know where the dressing room is, make sure I get my cameras all ready, get the white balance set and all that kind of good stuff. And of course, give myself plenty of time to make sure that I get my equipment on properly. Did the test fit last night? Kind of have an idea of how it works, but just want to make sure I'm giving myself plenty of time this morning. So best chance of success. Let's hit the road and go get us a coffee and hit the rink. Alright, so it is about 10 after 6 a.m. and I am here at East Calgary Twin Arena, the Blue Rink. Yeah, nice and quiet this morning. And just gonna start going, getting geared up. Gotta get my cameras all white balanced, make sure we're ready to rock and roll. It's time to take some goalie lessons. This is where the nerves are actually starting to come in, like I'm actually doing this thing that I've been thinking about since I was a child. All right, so it is 6:45 in the morning, and I'm here with Nick from Evolution Goaltending Corporation. If I got that right?
Yes.
Awesome.
Right.
So Nick, can you tell me a little bit, like how long you guys been around? What do you do? What's your philosophy?
Yeah, so we've been around for about 8 years. But as coaches, I've been coaching for about 15 years. My partner as well has been for about 20 years. So we've been around for quite a while. Our philosophy when it comes down to goaltending is everything's always in a constant state of change. So because everything's in a constant state of change, as coaches, we have to be able to adapt. Same thing for goalies. Goalies have to be able to adapt. That being said, we always take everything from a first principle approach. So we're a big believer in the safe process theory and the positional elements. From that theory, we're able to expand it to different things as we go.
Awesome. So I'm a raw rookie, right? Like I have never strapped on the pads before. This is the first time. You ever worked with a rookie this old?
Yeah, maybe not this old, but we've worked with a lot of rookies.
Awesome. So what are we going to go through today?
So today we're going to talk about the safe process theory, to understand what that means. From there, we'll be able to break down what being in position means. And then from understanding what position is, we'll be able to actually work on getting ourselves in position so we have a better chance of making saves.
Awesome. Let's get at it.
Awesome.
All right, now there are a lot of goaltending schools in Calgary, but Evolution Goaltending was the first program to get back to me with a positive response to my crazy idea. Now, they were great. Nick was great. They agreed to let me film, and they didn't have a problem with my complete and utter lack of experience. We even managed to book at a time that worked for my boring adult schedule. I told them, if you can get me to the point where I can make even one save, that's great. But if I suck, trust me, that's all me. But if you're looking for some goalie training for yourself or for your child, drop them a line. They're very responsive and their prices are reasonable. Contact information is in the description down below, as well as a link to their YouTube channel. Tell them Reviewy sent you. And I did pay for this training myself 100%, so this is not a sponsored post. This is just my opinion. I really enjoyed working with Nick. So as you can see here, we're just going through some positioning drills, just the real basics, right? Like understanding where is the shot coming from, where do you have to, how do you turn, how do you look, how do you figure all of this sort of stuff out. It was really great about breaking it down into really easy step-by-step process of making sure you're just doing the absolute basics. And that's all I was looking for today. But I know you folks watching at home aren't wanting to see the full lesson, and I don't want to give away his full lesson plan anyways. If you want that, go take a lesson with Nick. No, what you want to see is Reviewy McReviewface in the paint, taking shots, rubber coming at him. So here you go. Here is every shot that I took as part of this goalie training with Evolution Goaltending. All the way over to us. Okay. Big rebound though. Yep, we're still good. So from the middle. I don't know what to say at this point, except that's it, I've done it. I have played goal. Maybe it's just in a practice, maybe it's just for an hour. But if I told 10-year-old me that I got to strap on the pads, go on the ice and take some shots, I think 10-year-old me would be really happy right now. I'm really happy right now. Thank you so much to Evolution Goaltending Corporation for this training session. Again, I paid for this session 100%, so this is not a sponsored post, but I will say I learned a ton today. If you're interested in becoming a goalie, whether you're young or old, definitely recommend checking them out. They pack a lot into a 1-hour lesson. I'm sweaty, I'm tired, my legs hurt, but my heart is happy. If you take anything out of this video, I hope you take that it's never too late to try something new. You're never too old to chase a childhood dream. You never know what you can accomplish if you just try. Am I going to continue goaltending? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, that was fun. I felt good on the ice. I think I made a couple of decent saves. Maybe with a bit more practice, a couple more lessons, and a bit of time in a beer league, maybe I could be a beer league goalie. Something I have to think about. For now, I'm just happy I tried. But hey, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just playing goal. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm Reviewy McReviewface, and I'll see you next review after I get out of this very smelly building. I don't even know what to take off first, I'm so tired. Can't even get to the jersey. Now, when I was a kid, my parents didn't sign me up for hockey because I didn't seem all that interested. But I got to play softball and basketball and a lot of other team sports, and I can vouch for the important lessons you learn there. But not every kid is that lucky. There are families in our city who simply can't afford to enroll their kids in organized sports. Whether it's the fees or the equipment costs, it's sometimes just out of reach. That's why organizations like Kids Sport are so important. Kids who qualify for their programs can get up to $500 per year to help offset those costs. Now that's up $200 from just last year, and it is the most that Kids Sport Calgary and area has ever been able to offer. They also give kids access to the Calgary Flames Sports Bank, which means that they can get the equipment they need at no additional cost. Now, between these two programs, Kids Sport Calgary and area is making it so all kids can play. There's a link in the description down below, and if you're so inclined, please consider making a donation.